Stop calling Aquarius weird. They aren't weird. They are just living in a year you haven't reached yet.
The paradox of the Ice King and Queen. In the vast landscape of modern romance, we are often sold a specific version of love, a version filled with Hollywood fusion, constant emotional validation, and the idea of two souls becoming one inseparable unit. But for Aquarius, this definition doesn't feel like a fairy tale. It feels like a prison sentence. While others are searching for a traditional partner to complete them, Aquarius is looking for a co-pilot for a journey that hasn't even begun yet. They are frequently labeled as the coldest sign of the Zodiac, the Ice King or Ice Queen, who remains perpetually unreachable behind an invisible wall. However, this is a fundamental misdiagnosis of their spiritual and emotional architecture. Aquarius does not fall in love through their eyes or even their skin. They fall in love through the electric pulses of their intellect. Their heart is wired directly to their brain, meaning their love isn't an absence of emotion, but a revolutionary, higher frequency way of experiencing it. To love an Aquarius is to accept that their primary loyalty is not to a person, but to the truth, the evolution of the self, and the blueprints of the future. Sapiosexuality as a sacred bond. The first pillar of the Aquarius love code is sapiosexuality, where a deep and challenging debate is considered far more intimate than a candlelit dinner. For the water bearer, the brain is the primary organ of seduction, because they aren't looking for a fan or a trophy partner, but rather a collaborator who functions as a true intellectual equal in a concept known as the mind merge. They crave a partner who can navigate the complex 5D chess of their thoughts and match their frequency in a world that often moves too slowly for their visionary pace. Consider the dynamic of Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson from the UK's Legendary Tales, or Mulder and Scully from the US cult classic The X-Files, as these aren't just romances, but are soul bonds forged in the shared pursuit of the truth and the solving of impossible puzzles. These archetypes illustrate that for an Aquarius, intimacy is built through the exploration of the unknown and the constant questioning of the status quo. In reality, an Aquarius will find more romance in a 2 a.m. car conversation about the ethics of AI or the architecture of a simulation than in any traditional bouquet of roses, because to them, being understood at the level of their genius is the ultimate form of being loved. This intellectual synergy creates a foundation of trust that transcends physical attraction, allowing them to reveal the mommy and madness of their inner world to someone who doesn't fear the height of their vision. They don't just want to share a bed. They want to share a laboratory of ideas where two minds can create a reality that is far greater than the sum of its parts. The freedom to exist. The most misunderstood aspect of an Aquarius is their absolute need for radical sovereignty, which acts as the cornerstone of their emotional existence. In the US and UK, where psychological attachment styles are heavily analyzed and categorized, Aquarius often receives the label of being avoidant, yet this is a fundamental misdiagnosis of their spirit. They are not avoiding connection, but are instead protecting their core frequency and maintaining the integrity of their visionary mind. To love an Aquarius is to accept the profound truth that you will never truly own them because they belong to the universe first and to a partner second. Their primary love language is space, and they view the ability to exist independently as the highest form of intimacy. For example, if they go 3 days without texting, a typical partner might panic and feel rejected, but to an Aquarius, those 3 days are actually a sign of supreme trust. They operate under the belief that loving someone means being secure enough to let them exist without constant tethering. This dynamic is best understood through the metaphor of a satellite as they orbit your world with incredible precision and unwavering loyalty, but must remain in the vacuum of space to function at their highest capacity. If a partner attempts to pull them down to a mundane, earthly level of codependency, the Aquarius will eventually crash and burn, because their genius requires the oxygen of freedom to survive. They don't want to have to make them whole. They want another whole person who is brave enough to walk beside them without needing to hold hands every second of the journey. The logic of devotion. Aquarius does not perform grand gestures in the traditional or cinematic sense, as they rarely see the value in receiving 1,000 roses that will eventually wither and die. Instead, their version of devotion is manifested through future-proofing, where their acts of service are meticulously designed to make your life more efficient and your long-term future more secure. This is a logical and high-level form of care that prioritizes structural stability over fleeting emotional displays. In US and UK tech culture, this is the partner who silently installs a high-end security system in your home or optimizes your entire investment portfolio simply because they noticed a strategic flaw in your current plan. While a partner might cry because they had an exhausting day, and a sign like Pisces would cry alongside them, an Aquarius will listen intently, remain perfectly calm, and then present a detailed 3-point plan on how to quit that job and launch a new business by next Tuesday. To the water bearer, solving your problem and removing the obstacles to your success is the highest and most sincere form of intimacy they can offer. Their love is not found in the comfort of shared tears, but in the creation of a reality where you no longer have a reason to cry. It is a love that builds fortresses, not just one that offers blankets. When they analyze your life and offer solutions, they are handing you the keys to your own kingdom, and that is the most profound gift they know how to give. The sovereign choice of a divine outcast. Ultimately, the Aquarius love language is a revolution. They are the architects of a new kind of intimacy, one that is based on mutual respect, intellectual fire, and the radical freedom to grow in different directions while walking the same path. They are the divine outcasts of the Zodiac, standing on the edge of tomorrow and waiting for someone with enough courage to join them there. If an Aquarius has chosen you, it is because you are the one person they trust enough to share their silence with. They didn't choose the lonely road because they were lost. They chose it because they were building a world that didn't exist yet. Their love is not a candle that flickers and fades with the wind. It is a star distant, constant, and guiding you toward a future most people are too afraid to even imagine. To be loved by an Aquarius is to be seen not for who you are today, but for the infinite potential of who you can become tomorrow.